Eric Wilson here, independent licensed mechanic with 30 years of experience. The next 6 to 7 minutes, I'm going to show you the inside story on this 2014 Ford Escape so you can make yourself an informed decision. Coming in on the front left tire, you got about 50 to 60% tread on aggressive snow tires, so definitely lots of tread for the winter time. Coming behind the front left tire, this is your lower left ball joint. Critical that it's, and you see how greasy it is here? That's great because people have maintained this, and that's important. This keeps the wheel to the chassis. This rubber boot here is full of grease, and if it was ripped, this is the outer CV boot, if it was ripped, it would see grease all over the place. So it's important not to, because this is a drive axle, and that grease keeps it lubricated and keeps it going forward. So far so good. Brakes, you got about 20,000 K on your front brakes. This is the left outer tie rod. This is the most critical thing in the whole car. It's the only thing that holds the wheel to the steering, and it is tight. The sway bar link connected from here up to there. Now that's critical because when it goes around a corner, that dampens the sway in the car, and that needs to be connected. So now the inner CV boot, a little harder to see, but see for yourself, good and dry. More important, if you look behind it, that's all dry behind there, and that's important because that's a leak point. And if it was going to leak, it would leak right there. No leak to be seen right there. This is the bottom of the transmission. Again, another leak point, good and dry. Bottom of the motor, of the oil pan there, again, another leak point, good and dry. Now, this here is a part of the exhaust, and it's the what people think. A lot of people think it's the catalytic converter. So they reach under, they go cut, and they go cut, and you've got yourself $1,000 repair, and I can stop that from happening with a free catalytic theft protection system that I'm prepared to give it to you. You heard me right, free. If you buy the vehicle, contact me. I will protect it with stainless steel cables, and they will move on rather than costing you $1,000. So anyway, if that's you buy, contact me. Coming across to the front right tire, again about 50-60% on aggressive snow tires, so a lot to tread for the winter. Your right lower ball joint, again, well maintained, it's been greased, and that is tight. The outer CV boot, good and dry. The inner CV boot, a little harder to see, but good and dry. More importantly, right here is a leak point. If it was going to leak, you'd see it dripping down here, and that is good and dry. Your left outer tie rod is good and tight, and your left sway bar link connected from here up to there. And see for yourself, it's connected and doing its job. Your brakes about 20,000 K on your front brakes. So brake-wise, leak-wise, tire-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern so far. Now coming to the right rear tire, again about 50-60% tread on aggressive snow tires, so lot to tread. Now your outer CV, okay, if you look here, that is your right outer CV boot, good and dry. Your right inner CV boot, good and dry. More importantly, if you look right in there, it's good and dry. Now that's a leak point. If it was going to leak, it would leak right there. Another leak point would be right here where the differential, where the drive shaft goes into the differential. Again, see for yourself, good and dry. So and then your right sway bar link connected from there to there. Your right connected. Your right suspension intact, no cracks, no breaks. Your brakes, you've got about 20, same about the front, about 20,000 K on your front, on your rear brakes. So leak-wise, brake-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern on the right rear. Okay, on the left rear, again, about 50-60% tread on aggressive snows. Your left sway bar link connected. Your left suspension intact. Your brakes about 20,000 K. Let's see, your outer CV boot, good and dry. Your inner CV boot, good and dry. More importantly, look behind, good and dry. So leak-wise, brake-wise, suspension-wise, I'm not seeing anything of any concern on the rear. Now, this is your left strut, and this strut is full of oil, and if it was leaking, you'd see it dripping all the way down here, and it's good and dry. More importantly, the spring suspension is intact, no cracks, no breaks. So on the left front suspension, no concerns. On the left rear suspension, this shock here is full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here, and that left shock is good and dry. The right shock, same thing, full of oil. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here, good and dry. And the right front suspension, if you see, again, same thing. If it was leaking, you see it dripping all the way down here, good and dry. Your right front suspension, so your suspension all the way around is good and tight. Okay, with the motor running, you've gone 1,092, 749K, no cracks in your windshield, dash looking clean, no check engine lights. I'm going to take you out and show you the condition of the motor now. Okay, with the motor running. Okay, shot of the exhaust for the motor running. I'm not seeing anything of any concern. Now, what I always do is I take the cap off the car, the motor, and I look underneath it to see, is there any white goo? Now, you'd see it right away. It looks like mayonnaise, and this is good and clean. I'm not surprised. It's low K, and as far as I can tell, it's been well maintained. Now, if there was white goo, that would be an indication of an internal leak, which would be a big problem, and walk away. So just note to self kind of thing there. Look first at that, and if you see it, walk away. Now, I am not seeing anything of any concern on this car, not brake-wise, suspension-wise, leak-wise, run-wise, or any otherwise for that, folks. So now, hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Now, if this is not what you're looking for, by all means, let me know, because I have access to literally hundreds of vehicles. I don't own one of them, and I never will. I am only the mechanic that I just want you to know exactly what you're getting with an unbiased opinion. See for yourself. And if you let me know, I will not only find it, but I will do this video inspection for you at no cost and no obligation. In addition to that, if you buy whatever vehicle you buy, come to me. I will not only put the catalytic theft protection on it for free, but I'll also put a 10% fuel saving device that I've done for 20 years and it never fails. 10% for the rest of your life. It is, it's just simple, but it works. Anyway, hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. And again, if it's not what you want, let me know, because I have access to literally hundreds of vehicles. Have a great one.